Hello and welcome to the Ice Guys. This is the show that takes you into the world of the National Hockey League. Every game, every day, from a betting perspective. With pro sports handicappers, Ian Cameron, Alex B. Smith, and various guests from the world of hockey and sports betting. And now, here's your host, Ian Cameron.
Welcome to the Ice Guys, Saturday, March the 14th. Ian Cameron and Alex B. Smith playing through a little pain today, I guess you could say. Ready to break down the Saturday NHL card. 14 games. It's another whopper, and I'm not talking Burger King, whopper of an NHL card here on this Saturday. Looking forward to it and breaking it down game by game as we do. We're the only show that does it on a Saturday. Every single game on the board. NHL from a betting perspective. We'll get to that in just a moment. We'll breeze through this recap. Not a whole lot to say about it, other than I'm a little bit disappointed. Like, I sprinkled on the two dogs last night, but I wish I had put a little more on both of them, because I thought the Islanders off the long road trip were in a bit of a tough spot. And sure enough, they got off to a really terrible start, down 3-0 early in that game against the LA Kings. And what a result that first period was. LA first goal, first period was plus 160. We cashed that. First period money line. And more importantly, Trevor Moore for the Los Angeles Kings with the first goal of the game, which was David's bargain bin special on the show yesterday. And Alex, even though he wasn't on the show, if you're a Patreon member, his card was up there. He also went with Trevor Moore as his bargain bin special of the night. Plus 400 was the price on that. Great price. So another bargain bin hit for the show, Alex. And like I said, now that's the good news. The bad news is what a tough beat for over 5.5 with that Kings and Islanders game. Is the best bet falls short for me. 3-2 Kings victory. They had chances at the empty net. I thought the Islanders were awful as far as getting great looks with the extra attacker trying to tie that game. But the Kings did have a couple empty net opportunities. And I was thinking as that game fell short of cashing the over, payback time, Ian, for that bullshit over I won a few weeks ago with Colorado, Minnesota. Remember that game where it was just it had no business winning, and then there was this flurry of goals, multiple empty net goals, and it ended 5-2, and it somehow miraculously went over. This was the payback for winning that one, was giving this one back. But give the Kings credit. Nice win for them. Overall, I like the way they've played under DJ Smith. Great energy. They're fun to watch. They're definitely more fun to watch than they were under Jim Hiller. And they play hard every night for DJ. They have done that. Win or lose, you cannot fault the effort of this LA Kings team on a nightly basis, and they've still got a shot to make the playoffs. There's no question. So nice win for them there. And I'm a little bit more upset that I didn't get more bullish on St. Louis, just because I thought Edmonton laying that kind of a price, and that is a brutal loss for Edmonton because they got the solid game from Connor Ingram. They got off to the start they wanted, up 2-0 in that game, and to give it away up 2-0, let the Blues get 2 unanswered goals to tie it, and then Robert Thomas with one hell of a shot in overtime to beat Connor Ingram. 3-2 Blues comeback win in overtime. A very, very tough pill to swallow for the Oilers. And how about the St. Louis Blues? They are one of the hottest teams in the NHL since the Olympic break. 7-1-1, and we've gone from basically dead to rights with their season about a month and a half ago. They're 5 fucking points out of the wild card now after last night. And all the quotes from Montgomery, Thomas, all the big Parayko on that team, all the players for the Blues saying, we're going for it. We want to get in. We're gonna push for it. We're pushing to get into a wild card spot. And this Blues team did something similar with a certain Craig Berube many years ago. I'm not saying they're there yet. There's still a lot of work to do. But the West has had a lot of teams on these roller coaster rides. Nobody's been able to string an extended streak of dominance in the West this season other than Colorado. And I guess you could say Dallas with what they're doing right now. Why not St. Louis? Maybe it's not like, are you scared of Nash? Do you really, if you're a Blues fan and you're trying to talk yourself into believing you can make the playoffs, I could see it. Because do you really think Nashville's going to run away and hide from you? LA is going to run away and hide from you. Seattle, Utah, who have suddenly lost a couple in a row. San Jose, even though they're capable, they're a young team still. Do you trust them to hang on? It can be done. It can be done for the St. Louis Blues. It's, like I said, the odds are still against them getting in, but there is hope now, and there is at least a chance. The old Dumb and Dumber line. So you're telling me there's a chance. And Alex, there is indeed a chance now for this St. Louis Blues team, and it's pretty remarkable.
Yeah, absolutely. And like I said, we've been talking about the balance, or I guess you see imbalance in the bottom of the West. I've been talking about, how I bet Vegas to miss the playoffs. I think San Jose is a team that could push in forward, but now you have St. Louis, like I said, catching fire, which, truth be told, in either wild card race, we haven't had a team really catch fire. The only team that's caught fire going into this kind of postseason picture has been Buffalo, and that's for division title. But we haven't had any teams just always say, okay, we we had Dallas. Let's say that we had Dallas getting on a little run too. But even then, it wasn't much movement within the playoffs. A team getting hot and making some strides now within this wild card race. That's what St. Louis is doing right now, being 5 points back. And when we still have this very condensed schedule. There's still quite a few games to be played, at least 19 or fewer for every team moving forward. There's still space and time for them to catch up.
There's no doubt there's time. And like I said, it's I didn't buy into it like that. I think it was someone said it in our chat, I think a couple weeks, just even a week ago, saying, the Blues could still get in. I'm like, nah, get out of here with that bullshit. Get that nonsense out of here. Now I'm starting to think, and then Jonathan throws into the chat here that it's the 10th easiest remaining strength of schedule of the St. Louis Blues. And here's the difference too. Hofer's been great, and Hofer had another great game last night. But let's not forget, Edmonton had almost 40 shots last night. Hofer was great, but the difference is Jordan Binnington has brought his international level of play to the NHL post-Olympic break too. He's been a lot better post-Olympic break, Jordan Binnington, as well. I mean, he was awesome against Carolina, a couple nights ago when they beat the Hurricanes. So that's the difference. They're getting outstanding goaltending now from both guys, not just Hofer. And that's made a difference as well. I think it was Jarek too. That was I think it was. Now that I think of it, I think it was Jarek that was pounding the drum for St. Louis still making the playoffs. Yeah,
I've personally had a conversation with him, and he mentioned and kind of praised St. Louis. So yeah, you're right.
Well, we'll definitely praise him and give him all the credit and accolades if they indeed pull this off, St. Louis, and make the playoffs. Speaking of making the playoffs, a team trying to make the playoffs after losing their last game. It got a little bit more difficult. The Ottawa Senators, and they are hosting the Anaheim Ducks. The first game of the day. This one starts at the top of the hour, 1 p.m. Eastern time. This will be a 10 a.m. Pacific time zone start for the Anaheim Ducks. So on the body clock, you worry about that maybe a little bit here for them. Ottawa minus 180, home favorite, 6.5 the total. That being said, with the concerns about the body clock for the Ducks, give me the Ducks. Give me the draw. I like both in this game. It's just, this is an Anaheim team. What have we said about Anaheim consistently? When they don't play up to the standard, they have a bad game, and really, they have themselves to blame for the Toronto loss. They had that game in hand. They were up 3-1, and then penalty parade started. They lacked composure. They lacked discipline, took all kinds of penalties. The big one being, of course, the Radko Gudas 5 in a game for the knee-on-knee hit to Austin Matthews. And by the way, 5-game suspension for Radko Gudas. Do have to touch on that for a minute. Joke. Absolute joke, that suspension. And I knew it was only going to be 5 games max, because when you have an over-the-phone hearing, the rule is it can only be a 5-game suspension at most. It has to be for it to be more than 5 games, it has to be an in-person hearing with the Department of Player Safety. So the moment we heard it was an over-the-phone hearing, it shouldn't have been a surprise to anybody that the most he was going to get was 5 games. But that's ridiculous. He's a repeat offender. He's got a rap sheet as long as, the coast to coast of the United States about everything he's done as far as incidents on the ice. It's time you really send a message that say this shit ain't going to be tolerated anymore. You got to rein it in. You can't be doing reckless, dumb shit like that, sticking your knee out there. And, probably didn't want to see Austin Matthews get hurt to that degree, but you can't tell me that was not intentional. You can't when you see that. And it's time to make an example of this guy, because he's done it before. It's 5-game suspension ain't going to do it. 10, 15, 20. Wipe out 1/4 of this guy's season. 20, make it 20, 25 games. That'll send a message through to him. And maybe that'll get him to screw in and say, you know what? I got to rein it in and not be just this reckless and this cheap on the ice with my physical play. But that didn't happen. And now you have basically given this man a free pass to continue this reckless behavior on the ice. You think he's going to be scared off from continuing to play this way when you're only giving him a little slap on the wrist in a 5-gamer? That's a bunch of nonsense, thinking that that's going to do anything and curb the way he conducts himself on the ice. So it's bad that he only got 5 games, but it is what it is. He'll obviously not play today. Yeah, but for me in this game, Ducks and draw. I mean, I feel it's a big price for Ottawa. Allmark was a little shaky when he in that loss against Montreal. He couldn't locate the puck in a couple of those times. I mean, it's just really weird to see that. They've been a bounce-back team all season, Anaheim. How many times have they responded and played well off a bad game? They've been very good off a loss lately, this Anaheim team as well. So I'll sprinkle on that. I don't love the early start time for a West Coast team, but I expect a good effort from Anaheim, and that's enough for me to take a shot. Plus 150 and also a little bit on the draw here as well. I'll look for a live over in this game. I ain't betting it pregame at 6.5. Alex, thoughts on Ducks Senators and thoughts on the 5-game suspension for Radko Gudas?
Yeah, I mean that whole situation was an absolute mess. You hate seeing knee-on-knee hits. Like, that's just unacceptable in the game. And then I was really pissed off with how the Leafs responded. I thought that was just absolutely insane. Like, there was a shot, the split shot of Austin Matthews holding his knee, and there's a teammate in the far distance behind, and then you cut to Buffalo Tampa the other night. Our guy Josh Doan jumping after Brandon Hagel when he was going after the captain. Big difference, huge difference, and that's the reason why those two teams with those two guys scrapping and the third guy jumping in are number 1 and number 2 in the Atlantic, and that team with the captain whose knee's blown out for the rest of this year is in dead last. Yeah. There's a reason for that. So in saying that, I'm just as upset with how the suspension was handed out as I was with the response on the ice. And like you said, you knew it was going to be 5 games once you heard, okay, it's not an in-person hearing. And it just from that point on, I said it's a joke. And we all could say it was a joke because it is. It's absolutely ridiculous. And this is the guy. Someone in the chat said he has become this era's Matt Cook. Okay, and Matt Cook got away with all this bullshit too. And why Matt Cook? Matt Cook, for the record, at least did get his ass beat on the ice. Radko Gudas needs to get his ass beat as well as get a much tougher suspension, because everybody in the league knows his reputation and knows what he's done at this point now, and he needs to own up for that. And he's a guy who will answer the bell. He won't shy away. He won't cower away like some other guys like Cook used to do early in his career. But yeah, you have to answer the bell, and the suspensions have to be tougher for a guy like this too. The wheel of justice that we talk about cannot just be restricted to 5 games, and you have a guy, like I said, whose rap sheet is as long as Radko Gudas. So that's my thoughts on that. As far as this game, I am on the draw. Sprinkle a little bit on Ducks to win in overtime or shootout plus 550. I like to draw a little bit more. I would be a little more worried about the body clock if this wasn't the 3rd game for this Ducks team out east. If this was starting the road trip, I'd probably just completely stay away from this game. But I think, especially with how things went with that Toronto game for the Ducks the other night, I think they'll be ready and have their energy with them. So I like to draw here in this spot.
All right, there we go. Like I said, these are small bets. I mean, I love Anaheim off a loss usually, but I do understand that this is a scheduling disadvantage for them this early of a game for a West Coast team on the road. But I still love the price is worth enough to take a shot for sure to me here in this game. We don't have Dostal confirmed. It'll be interesting to see. Now they could go with Ville Husso, but I will say Ville Husso's been solid in a couple of times he's played so far. And so this might be a Ville Husso start for Anaheim. It is Allmark for Ottawa for sure, but we'll wait and see on that as far as the starting goaltenders. As far as props for this game, when I look at these two teams right now, Alex Killorn's the one that stands out to me. He's on a back-to-back games goal streak for the Anaheim Ducks. So I'm liking that. Dylan Cousins, has been good, so I don't mind what Jonathan's saying there. Cutter Gauthier, he's been awesome. 7 of the last 10 games. He's found the back of the net. Some of those games have been multi-goal games as well. So a couple prop recommendations there I would give you for that game with Anaheim and Ottawa. Like I said, Ottawa's looking to bounce back too, and Ottawa needs points desperately. So I get it. I just think minus 180 is a little bit inflated for them in this spot. All right, next up, it's ABC Saturday Hockey, the national game this afternoon with McDonough and Ferraro on ABC. We've got Boston, Washington, Washington minus 130, home favorites. The total here sitting at 6 across the board. I'm on Washington here. 7 straight road losses for the Bruins. I don't trust the Bruins on the road, flat out. And I am impressed with Washington. That was a nice win against a red-hot Buffalo Sabres team the other night. And they had no Logan Thompson that night either. That was a Charlie Lindgren start for the Washington Capitals, and they were still able to get the job done there in that game. But yeah, it's also a revenge spot for Washington. They lost in Boston on a Saturday ABC game last week in Boston, and it was close, though. I think it was 2-1 Bruins last week in Boston. So payback time for the Washington Capitals. You got the Bruins on their last road spot. Yeah, I like Washington here. Boston's got to prove it to me. Prove it you can win on the road is where I'm at right now. With Boston. Alex, what do you think here? Bruins, I lean under too. It could be low scoring like the last game, especially if it's Swayman and Thompson as the goalies. And that is what I'm expecting. Alex, what do you think here? Boston, Washington.
Yeah, that last meeting ended 3-1. There was an empty net goal there. But it was a low event game that should have gone past the regulation. So I am back on the draw with this one. I grabbed plus 320 with that this morning. I would lean toward Capitals winning the game in overtime. Plus 550 is what I see at FanDuel with that. And like I said, Bruins have to prove that they can win on the road. I've tried to take that plunge a couple of times on this streak of them saying, okay, maybe this is the spot where they can turn it around on the road, and it just hasn't happened. And like I said, so now with the Caps, a little bit of rapid revenge as well. I would lean toward Caps, but I'm higher on the draw right now.
It's going to be one of my 2 bargain bins, and we're not going to get to the bargain bins. No, we will, actually. This is 3 p.m. Eastern, this game. We're definitely going to be done the show by then. But it's my day bargain bin. It's Ryan Leonard. Charles already mentioned it in the chat. 3-game goal-scoring streak for the Washington Capitals. So that will be my first of my 2 bargain bin specials for this Saturday slate. Washington Capitals, Ryan Leonard heating up, really playing well since the Olympic break, and now the puck's starting to go in for him. He's looking for his 4th straight game with a goal, plus 360 at BetMGM for Ryan Leonard of the Washington Capitals. So there you go, first of 2 bargain bin specials. I'll reiterate it, obviously, when we get to the bargain bin special of the night segment. As far as other props in this game, you look at this one also. I think there's McMichael I was interested in. Chychrun is always someone that's capable as far as finding the back of the net, shoots the puck quite a bit. Arvidsson has had some success against Washington, so has Zacha. So there's a couple maybe to look at for Boston. I'm just trying to bring up the line combinations here. We've talked about Marat Husnadinov quite a bit. Hasn't scored as much as I would have liked, considering he's up on the top line with Lindholm and with Pasternak, but still is some value there with him as far as a goal prop. All right, the last of the afternoon affairs, we've got Colorado, Winnipeg in the peg. Colorado minus 190. Road favorites, 6 the total in this game. This is a live game for me. I don't want Winnipeg. I know that. Winnipeg, obviously, we saw them. It's one thing to lose, obviously, to Anaheim, because Anaheim was in a good spot, bounce back. But to lose at against the New York Rangers the other night, that's alarming for this Winnipeg Jets team. And that's why, you talk about the St. Louis Blues. At least I didn't completely close the door on them, making a playoff push. Winnipeg, you got to close the door on it now. You're losing at home to the New York Rangers. That's not a team making a playoff push, in my mind. And the blue line is still – don't forget, this team traded away Logan Stanley and Luke Schenn to the Buffalo Sabres, so they're a little bit thinner on the blue line right now. I'm not a big Jacob Bryson fan. I never was impressed with what he did with Buffalo. The Solomonson actually hasn't played that bad. Elias Solomonson here for the Jets. But Hayden Fleury, Jacob Bryson, their depth takes a hit after the Morrissey DeMello pairing, and you're seeing them still struggle at times in their own zone. That could be an issue here against Colorado. That being said, Colorado has had their share of difficulties at times here in Winnipeg. In fact, the last 2 times they played here, could you believe that Winnipeg's outscored them 4-0 the last 2 times that Colorado's played here in Winnipeg? So they haven't scored a goal. They got shut out in back-to-back games that they played here at Canada Life in Winnipeg. So that's the one thing that's kind of holding me back. Is Colorado dialed in? I want to see it before I fire away. So this is a pass for me pregame. We'll see if we get involved during the game Maybe Colorado at a plus price if they give up the first goal. Kind of what I'm thinking here. Alex, what do you think here? Avs, Jets.
Yeah, that was the only thing I could look for would be Colorado if they're trailing. But other than that, this would be a pass for me completely. And I don't know if Winnipeg is going to be capable of just hanging around, pushing this like this, where it'd be a draw spot necessarily. Like I said, their playoff window's pretty much closed. So it could be either, Colorado's just taking it low and slow, and then all of a sudden they win 3-1. How many times have we seen Colorado games, especially in the daytime, where they're just low event, nothing's happening either way for 40 minutes, all of a sudden they jump out and they win 3-1. It can be one of those kind of sleepy games like that. So for me, yeah, pregame pass as well. I'll watch it live, and anything jumps out, jumping on it.
All right, there you go. Good stuff indeed. All right, player props here in this game. Natchez has scored in back-to-back games for the Colorado Avalanche. That's something worth noting here going into this game. Nick Waugh might be worth a look for the Avs. He's scored twice in the last 5 games, scored last game for the Avalanche as well. And I would say give a shot with Morgan Barron again. Yeah, there you go. Just after I said it, I see Jonathan in the chat mentioning it. Yeah, Morgan Barron, who's been a little bit of a depth player down the lineup for the Jets that has stepped up a little bit of late. Yeah, this could be an under too, honestly, because I think the Jets are going to want to tidy things up after, a 6-3 loss to the New York Rangers the other night. They're not going to be happy about that. And you're right, Colorado, Alex is bang on. That's a absolutely bang on, spot on, accurate read. How many times have we seen them in the daytime just not fire away offensively and just kind of a bit of a, not a dull game, but just a little bit of a slower game? We've seen that from Colorado on the road. So that's why there's a perfect in-game type of betting spot for me with this matchup. All right, the rest of the games are night games. Well, this is actually a late afternoon start locally for Minnesota as they host the New York Rangers. We've got Minnesota minus 210, home favorites, 6 the total in this game. Let me just see if we got goalies confirmed yet. Last I checked, I'm not sure we did, but here, hold on one sec. There's the depth charts. All right.
No, I haven't seen anything.
No
one yet confirmed yet. No.
I see Gustafsson for the Wild.
Confirmed.
I would think Shesterkin. Yeah, I would think Shesterkin for the Rangers, although it hasn't been confirmed yet. I'm very tempted by the Rangers, believe it or not. I am. I don't know if I'll move on the Rangers. I'm leaning in that direction. I mean, this is a team that's showing a pulse, showing some life of late. Obviously, 6-3 win against the Winnipeg Jets in their last game. And for Minnesota, from a spot perspective, and I don't try to bet situational stuff, every game, or try not to make a habit of it. But you look at what they faced. They faced obviously Tampa, Vegas, Colorado, Utah's a team that they're battling with in playoff positioning. 3-2 loss in a shootout to the Flyers. That's the one thing I guess that would concern me a little bit, losing to the Flyers in a shootout. They respond in a good way here in Minnesota, but I mean, Rangers have won 4 of their last 5 games. You can quibble about the competition, right? Leafs, Flyers, Flames, Jets. It's not a great who's who of victories for the New York Rangers. I think I'd be more interested in maybe a team total for the Rangers rather than jumping all on the money line. And the team total obviously would only be 2.5 at actually a slight plus price. I mean, they've been scoring lately, the Rangers. You look at it, 6 against the Jets, 4 against the Flames, 6 against the Flyers, 3 against the Jets, 6 against the Leafs, 4 against the Jackets, who are a good team, 3 against the Penguins. I mean, this team's on a 7-game streak of scoring at least 3 goals. So that Ranger team total interests me a little bit here, 2.5. I like this full game over, 6. I mean, I got off the Wild over, and I knew I didn't like the over against Philly because Philly's going to want to play lower event game, slower game, good goaltending, and that's exactly what we got, 3-2 in that one. I could see this one having a little bit more offense to it. Minnesota, after scoring 2, I think they're going to push a little bit more for some offense here. And as much as the Rangers have been consistently scoring 3 goals or more 7 straight games, the defense is still a little concerning for me with the Rangers. I know they played a little better defensively. 3 goals allowed to the Jets, shutting out Calgary, 2 to the Flyers. But come on, Minnesota's a much better offensive team than those 3 teams. So you would think this will be more of a challenge for the defensively here for the New York Rangers tonight. So I'm on that full game over. I'm probably going to sprinkle on the Ranger team total over. the draw might be something to consider too. I mean, you start to look at Minnesota here, and they're playing a lot of these tight games. 2 of the last 3 have gone past regulation. We've seen one hell of a strong series history of draw bets cashing with these two teams. How about to the tune of 5 of the last 10 have gone past regulation, including 4 of the last 6 between these two teams, including each of the last 2 here in Minnesota between the Rangers and the Wild. So that draw, that's enough indicators for me to be interested in that. Alex, Rangers Wild.
There's a reason I've got the draw season hoodie on today, and it's partly due to this game. There's a lot of draws that I like here, but this is my favorite one by far. 4 of the last 6 that you mentioned, including 2 straight at formerly known as the X and then turned into Grand Casino Arena. But like I said, this is a Ranger team that's showing some life, showing some gusto. So I'm on the over as well. This was one where I kind of had it circled maybe to try to wait for a 5.5, but no, 6 minus $1.10, minus $1.05. It's worth jumping in on free game. I think we're going to have goals going both ways. And I have a bargain bin that I like from this contest as well.
All right, good stuff indeed. As far as goal props here for this game, I actually like there's Terry Edelman, Minnesota Wild fan supreme in our chat saying, and I saw that too. Yeah, Jared Spurgeon playing his 1,000th game, milestone day for him, the longtime defenseman for the Minnesota Wild. That maybe lightning strikes for him on his special milestone game here, and he finds the back of the net. It's an angle that I don't hate. It's worth a couple of shekels if you like, if you buy into that angle. Boldy has scored in back-to-back games. Kaprizov and Lafreniere for their respective teams are on 3-game goal-scoring streaks. But I'm going to throw out a couple here. Bobby Brink, if he plays, that is. Let me just see here. He's day-to-day still, but we'll have to wait and see if he plays. He is feeling better, and apparently he's trending toward maybe being in the lineup after missing that Flyer game the other night. If he does play, I like Bobby Brink as far as a goal prop for Minnesota. But for the Rangers, I'm going to go back to the well with Gabe Perreault. Gabe Perreault is finally getting meaningful minutes, big opportunities up there on the top line for the Rangers with actually he was on the top line for the Rangers, but we'll see if that's going to continue to be the case because I'm seeing JT Miller is a potential to return for the New York Rangers after missing the last 5 games with an upper body injury.
It's his birthday today.
JT Miller? There you go.
Yeah, somebody said in chat. It's his birthday.
All right, very good. Well, and he might, because if he's in, he might be with Zibanejad and Lafreniere on the top line, not Gabe Perreault. But either way, I like Gabe Perreault. Gabe Perreault's been noticeable lately. And Cartier, you're right, Jonathan. Cartier's the other one. Coming over from the Seattle Kraken. He's going to get a little bit more opportunity here, and he scored in 2 of the last 3. So at that price, it's worth a shot. So a couple of good value props here for the Rangers game and for the Rangers and Wild here tonight. All right, next up, we've got now this should be fascinating. We're used to, when we see these teams play in this building at KeyBank Center, we're used to seeing blue and white just invade. Toronto Maple Leafs fans everywhere, and actually to the point where they're outnumbering the Sabres fans, especially when the Sabres have been absolute dog shit, horse shit the last few years. I don't think that's going to be the case tonight. I think the Sabre fans will push back and be well represented in their own building tonight. Toronto and Buffalo, we've got Buffalo minus 230, home favorites, 6.5 the total. What a great quote from Lindy Ruff this morning at the morning skate press conference saying, I was kind of hoping some Toronto fans would sell their tickets back to Sabre fans here for this. That's a little jab, too, for the Leafs being so awful.
Nice. I like that, yeah.
Now. So way to go, Lindy Ruff, for saying that earlier today. Yeah, you got the Sabres off a loss. You got a Toronto team that finally got the monkey off their back with a, somewhat surprising win against Anaheim. I think it was surprising because, they were in control of that game, Toronto, and then, of course, Anaheim just lost their discipline, and that's where the game came unraveled for them. But you would think it's a bounce-back spot for Buffalo. I'm on over by Fecta, and I'm on Buffalo team total over 3.5 here in this game. In fact, the one good thing about Anaheim, even though they lost, and I had the money line against Toronto, I did cash Anaheim team total over 3.5 in that game because they did score 4 goals. I mean, they are still a disaster defensively. And if not for Joseph Woll in that Anaheim game, it could have been worse. They are just having a hard time in their own zone right now, this Toronto Maple Leafs team. And you got to think Buffalo off a loss now. They get a chance to, feel the sting of losing for a change, and I think you're going to get a good effort from them. They know that this is a team that over the years, they've had their fans just drown out, Sabre fans here at KeyBank Center. And I don't think Buffalo will look past an opportunity to add some agony for the Toronto Maple Leafs here. And we'll see. Now, Toronto had been owned by Buffalo. Then Toronto won 5 in a row against Buffalo, and they've still won 6 of the last 8. But Buffalo did beat them the last time they played in Toronto, 7-4. I like Sabres team total over. It's not a great price. We're looking at minus 150 with that, so I'm going to sprinkle pregame on that. And if it drops to a better price, we're going to add more Sabre team total over 3.5. If it falls to a price, my usual minus 120 or better is what I look for. So that and the over by Fecta here for me with Leafs and Sabres tonight. Alex, Toronto, Buffalo.
I went with a flat 4 minus $1.05 over at BetMGM with that team total on Buffalo. I think, like I said, this is a smash spot. This is like I said, this is a win for the fans if you get it here, right? To have this momentum going, we've been talking about this the whole time. Now that you have Buffalo playing, its best hockey in ages. But like I said, to have a chance to squash your rival who's dead last, this is a complete flip of the tables from, say, 5-6 years ago, where we were talking about Toronto trying to make a cup run and Buffalo rebuilding. And these moments do matter. And I think that energy will carry over with this team, and this team is aware of it too. So team total over 4 for me. I also went with the parlay of Buffalo money line and over 5.5 plus 110 as well. But I think this should be a big win for the home team tonight.
All right, good stuff. Do want to mention, of course, obviously the Austin Matthews. We talked about the suspension of Gudas. We'll talk about the prognosis is in for Austin Matthews. It's a torn MCL and a contusion as well for Matthews, and his season is over. Now, it's not the absolute worst case scenario because it could have been a torn ACL. And you're talking about a recovery of a year, up to a year with that. At least this one, I think, is more along the lines of a 4 to 6 month recovery, but it means his season is definitely over. So he'll be back at training camp in the fall. But just very unfortunate. Yeah, this Matias Maccelli thing, we got to bet it. Not just to score a goal, but the first goal, and for not just first goal of the game, first Leaf goal. Also you got to do it. I mean, he's just been a first goal magnet for the last 5 games. Jonathan's right about that, and he's been their best goal scorer. Matias Maccelli here. Matias Maccelli. I like saying it in my Italian accent. There you go, even though he's Finnish, but he's got Italian in his family. That's why he's got that name. Yeah, Husso is going to, I kind of figured this could be a Husso start. So there you go. It is confirmed. Ville Husso is going to start for Anaheim in that game against Ottawa coming up. But yeah, getting back to this game, Matias Maccelli, first goal, first Leaf goal, just a goal in the game. And just the general to score a goal is plus 410 for at Bet Rivers. It's a great price. So yeah, that's worth a shot. That's not bad as far as Nick Robertson. You're right. He does most of his scoring. I'm going to maybe look at Easton Cowan possibly for Toronto because I think he's played really well of late with the opportunity. For Buffalo, as far as goals, because I think the Leafs will score a little bit. Alex Lyons projected in net, but it isn't confirmed as of yet for the Sabres. For Buffalo, as far as goal props here in this game, I'm looking at their lineup. You still see the value with Krebs because he's with Thompson and Tuck. Quinn, Zucker, Josh Doan. Here's a couple. Malenstein and Sam Carrick, too. I don't know what it is about Sam Carrick, but you get him to Buffalo from the New York Rangers, and suddenly this guy's become a little bit of a threat offensively for the Buffalo Sabres. The guy can play. He's not just a physical player that can fight. He can play. He scored now in 2 of the last 5 games entering tonight. They scored in the last game. He's 10-1. Like, how do you not at least dabble a little bit in that? Sam Carrick for the Buffalo Sabres here. Like, plus 1,000 at DraftKings. We're not telling you to unload on that. We're telling you just to sprinkle a bit on that. And I think it's worth a shot there at that price, no question. Matthias Samuelsson's out. Someone else mentioning it's his birthday, but he's out. A lot of birthdays, but yeah, he's out. No Matthias Samuelsson tonight for the Buffalo Sabres. The good news is they have a ton of depth now on the blue line. They can roll with they can go probably 7-8 deep on the blue line right now. Byram, Dahlin, Stanley, Power, Metza. Zach Metza is going to get back in tonight and play with Luke Shen on the third pair. Samuelsson is injured and out for this game. And Kesselring is the healthy extra defenseman here tonight. So there you go. Kesselring is the health bomb here tonight for the Buffalo Sabres on the blue line. All right, there we go. All right, I think that's good. We covered everything in this game. All right, next up, we've got, as we continue along here, Calgary Flames and the New York Islanders. Islanders minus 140, home favorites, 6 the total here in this game. Feels like a bounce-back spot here for the New York Islanders, and it feels like a spot where I want to fade the Flames because teams that are not good off a win, I don't like backing those teams again. And, of course, the Flames did win in their last game against New Jersey 5-4. They got totally outplayed, though, in that game. It was a terrible, 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 terrible night for Jacob Markstrom against his former team. I can't stress enough how bad he was for New Jersey against Calgary. I mean, Calgary, like I said, they got outplayed in that game, but it was not a good night for Markstrom in net for the Devils. Islanders off the tough loss last night. The problem is Calgary actually has beaten the Islanders 4 straight times, 5 of the last 6. Calgary has definitely had the better of this team over the years. I know, and minus 140 is not a price I love. I lean Islanders. I could only look at the Islanders side in this game. But at minus 140, I'm a little bit leery of taking them at a price like that. The draw does make sense here in this game. I do like this draw. Calgary is still giving a pretty decent effort most nights. I mean, the Ranger game's kind of an anomaly when they got shut out. Other than that, they've been still pretty feisty. So I think the draw could get there. We've had some draws in the past between these two teams, so I kind of like that a little bit, the draw here with the Flames and the Islanders. Alex, what do you think?
Yeah, there's another draw that I like quite a bit. 3 of the last 5 meetings have gone past regulation. And like you said, the Isles have struggled with Calgary. So either way you look at it, whether it's Calgary playing well and hanging up to par with the Islanders, or the Islanders struggling, just knowing they need to at least grab a point against a team that they haven't done well against historically, that definitely leans to the draw for me.
I think I might get in on now I don't usually do this. Calgary's not, always a prototypical over team, but we do have a series history of more overs than unders with the Flames and the Islanders. I don't like Riddick's form right now. I've said that. He's given up 4 goals in 2 straight, 3 goals or more in 4 of the last 5 starts for him in net. So I don't love Dave Riddick's form. Now it is his former team, Calgary. Maybe that bumps him up a little bit, but I don't love the way he's been trending in net for the Calgary Flames. And you got Devin Cooley in net for Calgary going into this game, who got lit up by Washington the last time we saw him. And I think you're going to start to see Cooley level off a little bit. He's going to cool off, Devin Cooley. There we go. A little bit. Like, he's had a great season. Calgary's gotten way more than they could have ever envisioned from Devin Cooley as their backup goaltender this year. But I do think he's going to come back down to earth a little bit. And maybe that blow up against Washington when he gave up 6 goals, maybe is a little sign of that.
I haven't bet one of these in a while. Let's go correct score 3-3 plus 1,300 at FanDuel.
Yeah, I could definitely see 3-3 go to overtime here. Yep. Definitely could see that, especially with Cooley and Riddick, confirmed in net. As far as goal props, we had Callum Ritchie last night, weren't able to hit it, but still, I mean, if he stays up where he is in the lineup, with Horvat and Heineman, you got to bet it. Heineman's the other one I considered for bargain bin, and of course he's the one that scores last night for the New York Islanders. He's on that top line as well. So Emil Heineman is a good goal prop, I think, on the Islanders side. For Calgary, Sharon Govich scored last game. Gridden, I always say, has been very dangerous. And I like the angle of Coronado. You're right. Coronado is playing pretty close to home here. I believe he's a New Jersey kid, Matt Coronado. So, close in the area. Yeah, Huntington, New York, specifically, is where he's from. So, I could see him maybe getting involved and pitching in a goal here for the Calgary Flames in this one. All right, next up, we've got San Jose, Montreal. Montreal minus 160, home favorites. The total here, 6.5, shaded to the over in this game. Obviously, the big news for Montreal was the fact that they obviously called up Jacob Fowler from the AHL, gave him the start on the back-to-back against Ottawa, and boy, he was the reason they hung on in that game. The saves he made at the end of that third period, absolutely spectacular. San Jose, a nice bounce back from them. They lost in Buffalo, and they're the team that ended the double-digit home win streak for the Boston Bruins the other night. Great win for San Jose. as this road trip continues. They'll be looking to keep it going. Alex Nedeljkovic confirmed in net for the San Jose Sharks here. Jakub Dobeš getting the nod here for Montreal. I think it's going to become a back and forth now for Marty St. Louis. I could see them rotating between Dobeš and Fowler. Montembeau's out of there. He's out of the equation now, clearly. This is a Dobeš and Fowler goaltending battery moving forward here for the Habs. And Dobeš has played, pretty solidly of late. Nedeljkovic getting the nod here for the San Jose Sharks, which is pretty interesting call here from Ryan Warsofsky here, because he's kind of been going back and forth quite a bit with his netminders. But like I said, I think Nedeljkovic, the veteran here, seeing him maybe with an opportunity. I got to start closing some windows here. I think we're starting to freeze up a little bit. So my apologies here. We'll get some of these windows closed here in front of me. There we go. Sometimes that happens when I got too much open, and that's what we've got right now. Okay, so for Nedeljkovic, he is getting the start here tonight for the San Jose Sharks. Like I said, obviously a very capable netminder for this team. We'll see how he fares here tonight in this matchup against the Montreal Canadiens. This is a tough one for me. This is another one where I think the draw could be, I hate to be repetitive, but this is definitely another game where I think the draw could be live here a little bit in this game between these two teams. I could see it being a pretty competitive game. I kind of think it could go over, but again, the goaltending of Dobeš has been good lately. I might wait for a little bit of a better price and a better number to look for that over in game. So I might wait on that. But the draw at pregame is of interest to me here in this one. To be honest with you, and I like Montreal, and they're playing well right now, and Dobeš is playing well. Don't get me wrong, but I'm always tempted by San Jose when I'm seeing them getting prices like this. And I'm kind of feeling that way too. Sharks are pass at this number. Alex, what do you think here with San Jose, Montreal?
Yeah, this is one where I like Sharks team total at flat 3 and minus $1.05 at BetMGM. I like goals here early. I like both teams to score. I got plus 144 with that. A little bit of a high price for that first period over, so kind of want to wait for that one in game to kind of drop down. But definitely, we see, obviously, we know how Dobeš is giving that first goal of the game sometimes. I'm not necessarily betting that, but like I said, I do like goals early here. And of course, it's Saturday night, so we got to go everything. Right. Go Caulfield.
Saturday night, yeah.
Anytime goal, 2 goals, 3 points. Those will be the things that I'm running with, same as usual.
Yeah, it's hard not to bet that, especially at home. And he's had multi-goal games at home, so I could see him having a good game of it here. The one thing that concerns me too, what might keep me off Montreal too, is this is a bigger than average revenge spot for Montreal, because they had that crazy game in San Jose that ended 7-5, up and down it was, and they felt they had that chance to win that game multiple times and they didn't. So that's definitely something to keep in mind. Yeah, Alex Newhook was big in that San Jose game. I remember he scored a couple in that game. So maybe this is a night to look for a little value here with Alex Newhook for Montreal. Deneau's had success against Nedeljkovic, says Jonathan as well in this chat. So like I said, Eileen, I like the draw. The draw is the only thing I've bet pregame, but I'm going to look toward maybe a live over, maybe San Jose if they fall behind, but nothing pregame with either of them. I'm going to wait for a live over. It is worth noting 3 straight games in the series have gone over the total between the Sharks and the Canadiens. And this will be a game played with pace. Make no mistake about it. Lots of ability to put the puck in the net on both sides going into this one. From a prop standpoint, Kapanen is always, I think, worth a look, with what we've seen, obviously, out of him. One thing, too, about Nedeljkovic is I thought he played excellent. That's why he's in. That's what I was trying to say earlier, was that I think Warsofsky's going back to Nedeljkovic to reward him, because he was terrific against Boston the other night. So it makes sense that he's coming back to Nedeljkovic instead of keeping the rotation going with Ask About Me, Yaroslav Askarov, going into this one. All right, Carolina, Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay minus 120, minus 125 home favorites, 6.5 the total here in this game. I could only look at Carolina at this price. I don't want Tampa right now. Something's off right now with the Tampa Bay Lightning. It's Carolina or nothing for me. I'm waiting to see who's in net. I don't think I can do it, though, if it's going to be Old Man Anderson. But I'm waiting on that here in this game. We don't have goalies confirmed really either way. Vasilevsky, Bussy are the projections. Gostisbehere out for the Hurricanes, by the way. It looks like for Tampa, they will have Chernak. Chernak's off the injury report. Lilleberg's still on there. And Declan Carlisle now getting hurt is on the IR. So just when they get Chernak back, another defenseman goes down. That's kind of been the series here, or the season here for the Tampa Bay Lightning. They just cannot get their top 6D healthy and on the ice at the same time, this season. That's just basically the way it's been pretty much all year. Robert says Freddie Anderson's starting. So, that might temper I might do Carolina team total instead then if that's the case. But like I said, Tampa Bay, I don't know what it is. You know what it is with Tampa Bay, too? It's that they have the Buffalo game is the one that stands out. We saw Columbus make mincemeat of them defensively. They gave up 5 to the Jackets. They beat Detroit 4-1, and some people might think they're back on track. Everything's good. Detroit is a mash unit right now, struggling, depleted. They've lost each of their top 2 centers in Larkin and Kopp. I don't want to give Tampa too much credit for that. Detroit is a vulnerable team right now. I'm not going to give Tampa all the credit for, they're back now because they beat Detroit. Detroit's a mess. Detroit's got issues right now. So this is Carolina or nothing. I think with Freddie, I'm going to be targeting more so the team total over for the Carolina Hurricanes here in this game tonight. Alex, and Carolina will always get pumped up to play Tampa Bay, obviously. Right. They want to prove themselves against any team that's won cups in that state. What do you think here, Alex? Carolina, Tampa Bay.
Yeah, with the big card, this is the game I passed. Like I said, there's a lot of different variables, and obviously they're waiting for goaltending as well. So if I do jump in something live, maybe something will pop up. But pregame, this is a pass for me.
I was open for 6 with this total. 6. I'm going to wait for it. I want over because it's gone over in 2 straight meetings this year. They've played each other twice, and it was a 6-4 Tampa win and a 5-4 Carolina win. So the games flew over the total. It's over for me, but I'm going to see if I can get a little bit better. Maybe I get this thing to drop to 5.5 with a few minutes of scoreless hockey to begin the game. So a live over is what I'll be targeting here with Carolina and Tampa Bay in this one. But I will bet Carolina team total over pregame here in this one. All right, as far as props here for this Carolina-Tampa matchup, let me just I had it up on my screen. The laptop's going nuts today, guys. Apologies for that, but we'll try to straighten things out here. There we go. We've got it back where we want it. Yeah, Mark Jankowski and Gage Gonsalves. Both of these guys have scored in back-to-back games. Jankowski is plus 850. It's an incredible price. He's right from my little hometown here, Dundas, Ontario, just outside of Hamilton. I always hope for this guy to have success in the NHL and give him credit. He's stuck in the NHL for quite a few years now, even though he's been mostly a third, fourth line player all these years. So I think it's worth a shot here. Mark Jankowski, what a price. I mean, he's gone through these little stretches before too, where all of a sudden, boom, out of nowhere, 3-4 games in a row, he can score a goal for you. And right now, he's scored in back-to-back games, plus 850. Gage Gonsalves for Tampa has scored in back-to-back games. Give me Nick Paul. He scored the last game. He can be streaky. So there's some good value here as far as goal props. Those are the ones I like the most. You're right about Eric Robinson, too. He's had success against Tampa. I've noticed that a lot of his goals have come against Tampa. So there's some real good shots as far as that's concerned. So, like I said, as far as goal props, there's some real good value, here in this Carolina and Tampa Bay game. That's it's Dundas. You're right. It is. It's got ass at the end. So what? It makes it a cool town name. Yeah, Dundas, Ontario. Yep, nice little town. Like I said, I'm not a big city guy. Hamilton is not. It's not a huge city. But when you get downtown, it's a decent sized city, but it's not like a Toronto size. Toronto's nuts. I mean, it's just people left and right, cars left and right. You can't walk on the sidewalk downtown without bumping into somebody in Toronto. I mean, Hamilton's not like that. So, it's a medium sized city, but even then I wouldn't want to live downtown Hamilton. I'd want to live in the suburbs, nice and quiet. Give me tranquility at this stage of life right now. That's what we're looking for. All right.
I'm still a city guy in that aspect. Yeah. That's why I'm right here in downtown St. Paul. So
yeah, that's good. I mean, it keeps the one thing about living right downtown is keeps your energy high. It can keep your adrenaline flowing.
Get things all around you at all times.
Yeah. Yeah, no question. So, yeah, a lot of good goal prop shots. I agree with that Carolina and Tampa Bay game. All right, let's go to L.A., New Jersey. Next up, we've got New Jersey minus 145, home favorites, 5.5 the total in this game. I don't think I have to look at the starting goaltending for New Jersey to know Jake Allen's going to start. I haven't even looked, but I think it's going to be Jake. How do you not put him in after the disaster Markstrom was the other night? Yeah, I just looked now. Yep, bingo, Jake Allen for the New Jersey Devils tonight. Yeah, you knew that was he was not good at all against Calgary. I'm going to give me the over here. Like I said, we lost last night with it. I'm not out until I lose 2 bumper stumpers. You guys know that. I don't jump off a trend until we lose 2 in a row with it. So I'm going to come back to over 5.5 here. And I'll say this about the Devils. They've started to trend over the total. It's a team not making the playoffs. Score goals and give them up has kind of been the mantra here for the Devils of late. 3 of their last 4 games have gone over the total. Now, it is a 5-0 under streak in this series between the Kings and the Devils. But, again, it's a different Kings team playing with a little pace here right now, scoring more goals, giving more up as well. So we'll come back one more time to riding these Kings overs. I know it fell short last night, but we'll come back to it at least one more time here tonight with Kings Devils. Alex, what do you think here, L.A., New Jersey?
Yeah, I'm right there with you on the over, and I wouldn't be worried about the series history because you look back, we're talking about completely different coach teams. We're also talking about completely different situations where, Kings team firmly in the playoffs or a Devils team that was firmly in the playoffs, East versus West. It was kind of more of a draw season spot with those kind of teams. Now that we're talking about 2 teams seemingly for more so New Jersey out of the playoff race, but the Kings kind of hanging on, fighting for their lives and playing more up tempo, this definitely leads to, I think, a higher scoring game tonight. So, yeah, over 5.5 from here.
All right, there you go. Over 5.5. As far as props go, yeah, why not? Why not ride the way? I think a lot of us had Trevor Moore. Why not come back to him here, plus 400 here tonight in this game? I'm going to throw out Maxim Siplikov here. This is a guy that's talented. He was with the Islanders before. He didn't really stick there. He has a chance now with New Jersey. He scored in the last game for the Devils. 11-1, is the price for Siplikov here for the Devils. I'm going to take a shot, I think, with that. To me, that's worth a look here in this game. What else are we looking at here as far as I'm just looking at the lineups again one more time. But, yeah, Moore, Laferriere maybe. I think actually Laferriere's a New Jersey guy. Yeah, we have to bet Laferriere.
You always talk about that. He's not Canadian. He's from New Jersey. Yeah,
I know. Yeah. We have to bet Alex Laferriere tonight. Chatham, New Jersey native. Alex Laferriere for the L.A. Kings. So, yeah, absolutely. That's a must that we take Alex Laferriere here tonight back home for the L.A. Kings to find the back of the net. And New Jersey, like I said, Mercer's got value on the top line, Connor Brown on the second line. Like I said, the one I'm taking a shot with is Maxim Siplikov here for New Jersey tonight, 11-1, that maybe he can find the back of the net. All right, next up, it is Columbus, Philadelphia. Columbus minus 135, road favorites in this game, and the total sitting at, looks like pretty much 6 across the board. It continues to be for Rick Bowness an interchange here with Greaves and Merzlikins. It's back to Greaves in net tonight. Dan Vladar confirmed for the Flyers, so we do know both goals. Looks like Eric Goodbranson, after a long absence, might be back in the lineup here tonight for the Columbus Blue Jackets. So that's what we're looking at with that. As far as this game goes, I could only look Columbus minus 135 on the road. That's right around the point where I say, I like Columbus. I don't know if I bet them at a price like that. Let's give Philadelphia credit because they've had a nice little couple of games here this week. What a win for them in Minnesota the other night, beating the Wild 3-2 in a shootout. So that was a nice win for the Flyers. They also beat Washington the night before that. So a nice pair of wins on a back-to-back, no less, for the Philadelphia Flyers earlier this week. They've got a little momentum. I got to bet this draw. I just that's what I like. I lean Columbus, but I'm betting the draw here pregame. That's it. Just the draw pregame at the moment. We'll look maybe live for Columbus. But this Columbus team, 5 of their last 8 games have gone past regulation entering this game. For Philadelphia, 5 of their last 10 have gone past regulation. Series history, we've seen 2 of the last 4 go past regulation between these two teams. So Like I said, this is Columbus, although I'm going to look for a little bit of a better price live, and the draw pregame I like. Alex, what do you think here? Jackets, Flyers.
I grabbed plus 320 this morning. It is now dropped over at BetOnline to plus 315. Please shop around and get the best price available. But I do like this draw quite a bit for those parameters that you mentioned. And like I said, this just feels like one of those games where it's going to be low. I feel like this, up and down action, but it's going to take longer than 60 to find a winner.
The people that only love hockey may not care about this, but I sure do. We just cashed our UMBC Retrievers team total over 68.5. College basketball, America East Championship game. Got it on right in front of me. They're about to advance and beat Vermont. No, not this year, Vermont. They've owned that conference over the years. Not this year. So way to go, Maybe UMBC is going to take down a big team in the first round like they did years ago when they upset number 1 Virginia. I still remember that. Tony Bennett. Yep. Never know. Not the singer. The other Tony Bennett. Yeah. All right. Anyway, enough of that. As far as goal props here for this game, we've got. Let me just see here. Back-to-back games with a goal for Owen Tippett. We got Adam Fantilli, who scored last game for the Jackets. Might be worth a look here as well going into this game. He's still, I think, on the top line. Let me see here. Columbus. No, he isn't. It wasn't. Oh, Cole Sillinger's up there. Give me Cole Sillinger. You give me Connor Garland. I'm not jumping off Connor Garland train just yet. I know he didn't score last game, but we'll go back to the well with Connor Garland. And give me Cole Sillinger. Cole Sillinger might be playing with Marchenko and Fantilli tonight on the top line. So Cole Sillinger for the don't I know it about Ole Miss, Nick Alvento? We've been riding Ole Miss that whole SEC basketball tournament so far. So, yeah, they've been great to me. Sillinger on the top line, definitely. I think that is worth a look here. My phone's ringing off like crazy. I don't know who's calling me, but the fact they've called 3 times in a row, it's got to be someone that's of significance. So, Alex, you take over for just a sec. I'll be right back in a moment.
Okay. All right. Yeah, we're just kind of going through. Well, like I said, mentioned like in the draw in this spot, and just kind of looking through some of the other goal scorer props to maybe take a look at. Trevor Zegras, the guy that was kind of circling for Philadelphia. Like I said, Connor Garland, still get him in that bargain bin range, plus 340. So there's definitely a couple of players that I would look at in that spot. Alex Bump, plus 360 is the price I'm seeing also as well. Guy that was mentioned in the chat, I know, a couple of days ago in that spot. So just kind of see what's going on with that one. See what I'm not sure what game he had listed next for him. I have next up Detroit and Dallas. So that's where we'll wait for Ian to get back, and we'll get ready with Detroit, Dallas. I'll just go through some goaltending confirmation since we got a little bit of a break here with Ian. Just going here right now to goalie post. We'll just kind of run back with everything. Dostal and Allmark confirmed for Anaheim, Ottawa. Swayman and Thompson still probable. Nothing confirmed for Boston, Washington. We do have Joseph Wall confirmed for Toronto. We have Alex Nedeljkovic confirmed for San Jose. We have Jake Allen confirmed for New Jersey. Talked about Cooley and Rittich confirmed for Calgary and the Islanders. Greaves and Vidar confirmed for this game. Columbus and Philly. With Dallas coming up, Jake Ottinger is confirmed for that game. The only goalie confirmed in that one. And everything else still up in the air as far as goals go with that. So, Ian, y'all good?
Yeah, we're good. Yeah, we're good.
Okay.
Yeah, all good. It was a friend of mine that forgot I was doing the show. That's all.
Okay.
There we go.
I just ran through all the goalie confirmations and stuff, so now we can get to Detroit.
These
Dallas.
are people that have known me for 20 years, and I've been doing this show for, 8 years on Saturdays at noon? And I forget sometimes. It is what it is. I'm not that mad. I'm just trying to entertain people, thinking I'm that mad. No. That's the great thing, too. It's not live television. If I want to answer the phone, I can. That's the good thing. All right. That's it for that one. On we go. Yeah. Detroit and Dallas next up. It's not anything to do with Wizard Sports Picks. Trust me. All right. Detroit and Dallas. We've got Dallas minus 180 home favorites, 5.5 the total here in this game. Monster win for Dallas, blowing out Edmonton, obviously 7-2 beatdown over the Oilers on Thursday night. They'll be looking to keep it going here tonight against Detroit. Detroit's a no bet for me at the moment. I don't want the Red Wings. They're not playing well. They coughed up the game against Florida. They had the 2 home losses against Florida and Vegas, last week. They beat New Jersey, no big deal. New Jersey's, that's their one win in their last 5 games. And I love Detroit against New Jersey. You guys know that because I used Detroit as a best bet last Sunday when they played New Jersey. I loved them in that spot. That's the only win they've had in the last 5 games. No question. So, like I said, I don't want Detroit. They're not playing well. They're struggling. They're coughing up leads. They're banged up beyond belief at the center ice position. Larkin and Kopp are still out. We'll see if they can overcome it this time. Won't be easy. Jake Ottinger confirmed in net. I'd expect John Gibson in net for Detroit, although that is not confirmed at the moment as of yet. You could make a case for Dallas team total over 3.5 again. I mean, they've, other than the Vegas game, throw that one out, and they scored 7 against Edmonton, 4 against Chicago, 4 against Colorado, 6 against Calgary, 6 against Vancouver. 4, 5, and 4 against Seattle Saints. So they've really only scored fewer than 4 goals in 2 of their last 10 games. They've scored 4 or more in 8 of their last 10 games. So, yeah, I mean, maybe a small Dallas team total over, but nothing significant here. I mean, it's well priced. You're not getting a bargain with Dallas. Maybe a small team total over for the Stars. That's about it. I don't want Detroit, though. I don't like what I'm seeing right now. Alex, what do you think here? Red Wings, Stars.
This is a pass for me on a big card. Like I said, yes, you could lean toward Dallas team total, but he's still, laying a high price. So there's other spots I like more than anything involved in this game. So it's a pass for me.
Yeah, no doubt. So there, Jonathan's signing off on the team total here for the Dallas Stars here. Yeah, it makes sense. I mean, that's the way you bet Dallas whenever they're a big favorite right now. Is you just take the team total and you try to have that faith, I guess you could say, that they're going to be able to win, or not only win, but score 4 goals or more. You could definitely see that being the case. Yeah, as far as props for this game, Detroit and Dallas, many of them will be. I mean, Jamie Benn, you got to ride the wave. I mean, 4 of the last 5 games he scored. The captain of the Stars, so that's worth a look. Sam Steele. I mean, Matt Robinson's in our chat right now. We know he's been able to take advantage of betting Sammy Steele as far as goal props are concerned. Matt Duchene, Maverick Bork, because he's up the lineup. I mean, there's a lot of different routes you could go, as far as the goal prop market here in this game. So, like I said, there's a lot of different ways you can go about it going into this matchup tonight. But those are the main ones here. Ben, Sam Steele, Maverick Bork. Those would be the main ones I'd be interested in here as far as the Dallas side. Jonathan likes JT Compher, straight out of Compher, crazy motherfucker named JT. I haven't said that for a while. But yeah, JT Compher for the Detroit Red Wings, for Jonathan, liking him for a goal prop. All right, Pittsburgh, Utah. We've got Utah minus 140, home favorites. Total here sitting at, looks like 6, shaded to the over. This to me is a good Utah spot. Do I want to bet Utah is the question. I lean Utah. I think this is a get-right spot for Utah. I really do. Pittsburgh's starting to finally leak oil without Crosby, without Malkin, who's still serving that suspension right now for the Pittsburgh Penguins. And they're starting to really suffer more injuries. Kevin Hayes, Sam Girard, banged up team. Like I said, starting now to trend the other way. I mean, give them credit. They came out of the Olympic break. They had won a few games there, but now they're just 1-5 in their last 6 games. And the only win was Boston in overtime at home in a game where they came back from the dead, down by multiple goals in that game multiple times to win that game. I think it's a Utah spot all the way. I think I'm going to lay the $1.40. I don't love usually laying prices like this, but I think I'm going to do so in this instance. Lay the $1.40 here with the Utah Mammoth. I think they get the job done. Maybe a Utah team total over 3.5 as well. Because the one thing Pittsburgh is starting to do is give up goals. They have allowed 4, 4, 5, and 6 in the last 4 games. They've all gone over the total. So maybe a full game over as well. So, the total is only 6 here. I think a Utah team total over, Utah money line, full game over. They're all dangling around my brain right now as far as looks that I'm interested in here for this one. Alex, Penguins, Mammoth.
Yeah, this is one where I like to draw. And I also like Utah to win in overtime. Now, I said it's usually overtime or shootout, but I'd say beware of taking anything shootout related because there hasn't been a shootout with Utah so far this season. I thought that was an interesting stat. Saw it the other night when Utah and Chicago went past regulation. All their games have ended in overtime. So Utah, I would look to grab them in game if they're trailing. Because I like the draw. I'm not going to lay a 140. I'm going to try and see if I can get the spot where Penguins have the lead and I can grab Utah live. But I do like Utah to win this game, but I like the draw here as well.
All right, liking the draw here is there is some draw history with these two teams. Each of the last two meetings have gone past regulation, so I could see this maybe being one of those. But Pittsburgh is able to hold tight. We'll see. I mean, the one thing I do like for Pittsburgh is Ben Kindle to score tonight at plus 450. He scored against Utah in every meeting every time he's played Utah, he scored because his head-to-head goal record is 100% according to the app I use. So that means definitely he could be live here to find the bat. And plus, he's been obviously very good for the Pittsburgh Penguins. As far as Utah is concerned, goal prop wise, I'm looking at their lineup. Krause is still with Schmeltz and Keller on the top line. Obviously, Gunther, Cooley. You could see them find the back of the net, but those would be the main ones. Kindle's the one I would take a shot with here for the Pittsburgh Penguins, and he did score against Utah previously. All right, Alex's Chicago Black. By the way, do we have goalies for that game as of yet? Let me just check. It looks like Skinner is projected and Vamelka is projected.
Projected, but nothing confirmed.
Not confirmed as of yet. Shilovs has kind of taken a little step back the last couple times we've seen him. So he had been better than Skinner, but, a little step back from Shilovs the last couple times. But either way, it's interchangeable. But probably see Skinner, if I had to guess here for Pittsburgh tonight. All right, next up, Chicago, Vegas. We've got Vegas minus 240 home favorites in this game. The total sitting at 6 across the board. Vegas finally beat a team in the playoffs. Holy shit, it actually happened. Finally, they beat someone currently in a playoff spot with that win against Pittsburgh the other night. It certainly had been a long time. We'll see if they can keep the momentum going here tonight against the Chicago Blackhawks. I ain't laying minus 240. Momentum's momentum. Not at minus 240 with the Vegas Golden Knights. I might bet them live if they fall behind. We have seen them be a good comeback team. They're still, as Jonathan knows, and we've mentioned this, they might still be the league leader in third period goals, the Vegas Golden Knights. They've been a great third period team all season long. That's kind of where I'm at with this game. Like, I figure that I want to maybe look toward Vegas live. Maybe Chicago jumps them early, and Chicago's been good at times getting on the board early in some of these games of late against better teams. We have seen it before. So that's kind of my strategy here. Maybe I will sprinkle on Chicago for a goal in the first period, which I think is going to be at a cheap enough price, to be able to bet at pregame. Even though it's not the system, like they're not a minus 300, it would be an auto bet if it was Vegas laying 300 or more here in this game with that great system. But still, Chicago is a minus 125 around that price to get a goal in the first period. I could see
plus
that.
Plus 180, first goal, first period.
Yeah, I don't know about first goal because I could see Vegas scoring, but just to get a goal in the first period with Chicago, I'm interested at that minus 125 price. And then maybe look for Vegas live. That Jonathan's got it. 93rd period goals for Vegas, number one. So we know they're a good finisher. They're a bad starter. They're a good closer. That's kind of what they've been this year. So Chicago to score in the first and then maybe look for a live Vegas position. That's kind of where I'm at here. Alex, what do you think? Chicago, Vegas?
This is not a good spot for the Hawks tonight.
No.
3 straight games. You had 3 straight games to go past regulation. You had the great comeback in Utah, and then you've had a day in Las Vegas. And you've got Arvid Soderblom projected to start tonight. This is a Vegas slam dunk spot. Give me team total over 4 plus 120. I'm on the over 6 minus $1.10. If the Hawks do score a goal early, I'll be looking to maybe grab some Vegas team total, something maybe money line in game. But I think Vegas slam dunks the Hawks tonight.
All right, Vegas big. And like I said, with Alex, you get an honest opinion every time with Chicago, even though he's a fan of them, and he's being honest right there. Doesn't like him tonight. Bad spot. So we'll see if
out
that is
west,
indeed...
nice weather. Your season's already over. I don't see the veterans doing much here. I wouldn't touch a Donato.
Plus, they've lost
Carolina.
Foligno's leadership now that he's in Minnesota, Nick Foligno. So, who's going to steer the ship tonight from hey, make sure we buckle down and play well tonight? Who's going to do that for Chicago?
No one.
Yeah. yeah, there could be some truth to that. So very interesting to see how this plays out. But there you go. Alex making the case that this is not a good spot here tonight for the Chicago Blackhawks in this one. I'm still going to wait to bet Vegas live. I don't want to take them at this current price. Even with the team total, I'd wait for that to drop because they're off. Prior to the Pittsburgh win, this team hadn't been scoring goals either. The Vegas Golden Knights. That could be a good approach. Vegas over 30.5 shots on goal for Jonathan. Looking at that. So, yeah, that's something to keep in mind. Jack Eichel's been very good. Scored in 3 straight games. Frank Nazar heating up for Chicago. He's scored in back-to-back games here for the Blackhawks. As well for Vegas, I want to point out, too, that Mark Stone for the Vegas Golden Knights. Obviously, they've missed him. He has been activated he was activated from the IR before the Pittsburgh game. He returned in the Pittsburgh game the other night, played 17 minutes. So this will be his second game back. So that does help. Look at, isn't that amazing? Mark Stone comes back and you win and you look so much better. And we obviously saw that from the Vegas Golden Knights in that victory against the Pittsburgh Penguins. Yes, indeed, they certainly missed Mark Stone, and sure enough, he comes back against Pittsburgh and they win that game. So it goes to show you the importance of him in the lineup. All right, our last game of this massive Saturday card. Pretty good pace, an hour and 10 minutes, and we're at the final game already. Seattle Kraken, border battle. BC and Washington State, the Pacific Northwest battle. Seattle, Vancouver. We've got Seattle minus 135, road favorites. The total here sitting at 6 across the board. All right, you bastards. I don't know why I said that with a Boston accent, but I don't know why I did that, but I'll say it again. All right, you bastards. If you don't get it done tonight, I'm done with you. And I'm laying it with Seattle here, minus 130. This is a spot where you got to get it done here. This is your playoff hopes are flickering right now. You're not playing great hockey. You're playing, obviously, a Vancouver team that's played a little feisty here of late. I will admit that, but you got to grab 2 points here if you're the Seattle Kraken. You simply must. And I expect full focus for the Kraken tonight. Now they've lost a couple in a row. You got to get it done here, and I'm going to take a shot. It's not a big bet because it is Seattle, and it is laying a price with them on the road, but they have dominated Vancouver. They're 6-2 in the last 8 meetings. They've won 2 of the 3 so far this season against the Vancouver Canucks. So I am going to take Seattle here. And don't forget, these 4 losses, they've played St. Louis, who's red hot, Ottawa, who's a playoff, a team that's been battling for playoff positioning, Nashville, same thing, and Colorado. I don't think there's a really brutal loss in that stretch for Seattle, but you got to get 2 points here. It's really that simple. But I do like the draw too. We do have some strong draw parameters here. 4 of the last 7 meetings have gone past regulation between these 2 teams. 2 of the last 3 for Vancouver have gone past regulation as well. So I will get in on the draw in this game as well. Seattle and draw split here. Alex, what do you think? Final game, Kraken, Canucks.
Yeah, this is one I could maybe see a case for. Like I said, this is a strong case for the draw. This didn't make my parameters, though. There's a lot of draw plays that I like more than this one, so it's kind of left out. And as far as the total, I know we had that heavy over history. We've seen that kind of trickle back a little bit. It was a push in the last meeting, right on.
I'll wait for a 5.5 is my plan.
That's what I was going to do too. Yeah, I'll wait for 5.5 as well. So this is all live game for me, but more than likely we'll be drawing over. Just waiting for both of them in game.
All right, good stuff there. All right, as far as props for this game here between the Kraken and the Canucks, let me just bring up the lineups here. For Vancouver, I think Marco Rossi finally scored last game. You know how I like that from a momentum standpoint. When you've had trouble putting the puck in the net, you finally see one go in. And like I said, I could see him getting going a little bit, plus 370. There is some value with Drew O'Connor. Looks like he might be on the top line for Vancouver tonight as well. And then on the Seattle side of the equation, going into this game, I'd maybe look at Eberle. He's been playing well lately for the Seattle Kraken, even with the losses. I think his game's been pretty good for them. One thing, too, that I noticed, too, the defenseman, Riker Evans, I don't think he's a BC guy. No, he's not. I was thinking maybe he was, but I knew he was out west. No, he's from Calgary. But like I said, definitely something to keep in mind. Oh, he's the after-hours guest. Oh, there we go, Marco Rossi. That is phenomenal television, by the way, that after hours on Hockey Night in Canada after the late Saturday night game with Scott Oak. They've done it for years, where they just sit down with one of the players in the late game and talk about how they got into hockey. It's like what we do with the Players Suite interviews. Very, very good conversation there in the after hours segment. So that's always good quality viewing for sure in the late night hours after the late game Saturday nights on Hockey Night in Canada. All right, great stuff. Shout out to everyone. Appreciate you guys joining us here on this massive Saturday card. Hit the like button if you haven't done so already. WizardSportsPicks.com. It's been a great run, as I've talked about, #1 on the site in college basketball, in NHL. Had a #1 ranked NFL season as well. So make sure you check it out, WizardSportsPicks.com. And, of course, Patreon.com/Ice Guys, just $10 per month. Goalie charts, totals charts, daily betting cards, sides, totals, player props posted each and every day on the Patreon page. So make sure you check it out, Patreon.com/Ice Guys. And, again, we've got lots of betcasts that are only available to Patreon members coming up April and beyond. So make sure you sign up before April, because the betcast volume is going to pick up significantly after this month. So make sure you get on board. The $50 off Dub Club All Sports discount for me is available still for Patreon Ice Guys members only as well. So you can get in on that as well. So make sure you check out all of that. $10 per month. Your membership goes a long way to supporting the show and keeping it going long term. $10 per month. Patreon.com/Ice Guys.
And also check out the Ice Guys store at iceguys.myspreadshop.com. 2 days left to save 20% off all items in the store. Just hit the redeem button at the home page, add your items to your cart, and 20% will be taken off at checkout. I mentioned t-shirt and hoodie weather, but here I am in Minnesota bracing myself for about 12 to 15 inches of snow over the next 48 hours. So maybe it's time to get a jacket, which we have. We still have winter hats as well. We have all kind of wonderful items. You can save 20% off for the next 2 days. That's over at iceguys.myspreadshop.com.
All right, get in on the discount there at the Ice Guys store. All right, bargain bin special of the night, as we'll try to hit another one, and best bets coming up right after we hear from our great Ice Guys sponsors.
Wizard Sports Picks, featuring the finest handicappers in the universe. Sharp insights, trusted picks, and relentless results. We strive to help you become consistent winners. This is Wizard Sports Picks.
All right, bargain bin. That's a great stat, Peanut. Riddick is 0-6 against the Flames all time. Wow, there you go. And I was leaning Islanders. I was leaning Islanders, so I don't like that. With that stat. But yeah, but that's good to know. 0-6 Riddick against the Calgary Flames. So and the Isles have only beaten the Flames once in their own building. Wow, that's some good numbers there for. From Peanut in the chat. All right, you know what's been some good numbers too? Our fucking bargain bin special record this season. It's been some damn good numbers with that. Bargain bin special of the night. We had another one last night. Both David and Alex landed on Trevor Moore, LA at +400 to score. See if we can add to it tonight. Alex, bargain bin special of the night.
So I have two tonight, and the first one we'll start with is the guy from last night, Trevor Moore. Now, full transparency, I didn't get to watch the show yesterday, so I had no idea that David was on this. I sent you my plays at about 4 o'clock Central Time, and I just looked at the board. And I was like, that was a guy who I liked. He was the only goal scorer that stuck out to me, so I grabbed him. I actually got +350 with him yesterday. Right now, I'm seeing +360 over at FanDuel with Trevor Moore anytime goal scorer in that game against New Jersey. So that would be my first bargain bin special. My second bargain bin special will go to the Rangers taking on the Minnesota Wild right up the street here at Grand Casino Arena. And I'm going with Vladimir Tarasenko to get a goal for the Minnesota Wild. You get him +360. Now it was +380 earlier. I bet it, and then it moved. So you can get +360 with him as well. Vladimir Tarasenko anytime goal scorer for Minnesota That's my second bargain bin for tonight.
All right, great stuff. Like it. As far as the bargain bin specials of the night, I got two. I already mentioned the first one earlier. Ryan Leonard. This game is at 3 p.m. Eastern. It's an afternoon game. It's the ABC national TV game. Ryan Leonard for Washington, plus 360. Looking to make it 4 straight games with a goal. That is my first bargain bin special of the night. My second bargain bin special of the night, we're going to go to the guy from right here in my little hometown, Mark Jankowski, plus 800. I am going to rock with it. Great price. It was him or Michelli. Michelli's a good option too, but can only go with 2, and I'm going to go for the bigger price. Mark Jankowski, Carolina Hurricanes, plus 800. Multiple game goal scoring streak for him. So there you go. We got bargain bins on 2 players on multiple game goal scoring streaks. Ryan Leonard, Washington, plus 360. Mark Jankowski, Carolina, plus 800 for my 2 bargain bin specials of the night. All right, best bets. Alex, what do you got for best bet?
Yeah, back up the street to Grand Casino Arena. You got the Wild taking on the Rangers, and like I said, I love that draw spot for them. 4 of the last 6 meetings have gone past regulation, East versus West. Rangers have been getting a little bit more punch offensively. I feel like it could be a game that's going to take a little longer to finish. So give me the draw here with New York and Minnesota. Plus 345, the best price available. That's my best bet for Saturday.
All right, there we go. A little draw action. And remember, I think it was Bruins and Kings earlier this week. Alex went the draw route with best bet, and it came through. So looking for that again with New York Rangers, Minnesota draw for Alex with his best bet here for this Saturday slate. My best bet here for this Saturday slate. What's the best? Oh, there's a minus 144 out there with this at, Pinnacle. There's a couple places that have it just shy of minus 150. A couple other places have it minus 150. A couple have it as high as minus 160. And I'm going to add more to this if the price falls, but I still think it's best bet material. You got some juice worth laying. Let's put it that way. And that is Buffalo Sabres team total over 3.5. I like it. It is one of my favorite plays on the board. It's best bet material. I think I don't know about pound Toronto, but they're certainly going to pound them offensively. I think they're going to score 4. This Toronto team has routinely been giving up 4 goals since they've fallen out of the playoff race, and I think that continues tonight. So Buffalo off a loss too, a rare loss. So I think they come out ready to go, and they get 4 on the board minimum here tonight against Toronto. So Buffalo Sabres team total over 3.5, best price minus 144. That is going to be my best bet here for this Saturday NHL card. Shout out to everyone in the chat. Oh, yeah, Michelli. Someone asked. Michelli would have been my third option as bargain bin special. Michelli for Toronto. But I ended up going with Leonard and Jankowski. Great stuff. Shout out to everyone. We appreciate it. The like button. And we want to remind you, too, the Betcast, our one Betcast still to come in March, which is a free-for-all, open to everybody Betcast, Tuesday, March 24th, a week from this Tuesday. There's no college basketball that night. It's a perfect night. It's a great NHL card that night. So make sure you're with us Tuesday, March 24th. Ice Guys NHL Live Betcast, 7 p.m. Eastern. DM or email me or Alex for a spot on that Betcast, and we will send you the link for it. But we will have, obviously, preferential treatment for our Patreon members who will get the VIP treatment for this Betcast, as always. So, again, Tuesday, March 24th, 7 p.m. Eastern Time, our next Ice Guys Live Betcast. A reminder, the Ice Guys is live 7 days a week, Monday to Friday, 2 p.m. Eastern, Saturday, Sunday, noon Eastern. If you can't watch the show live, download the Ice Guys podcast in audio form on all major podcast platforms, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, iHeartRadio, Amazon Music, and more. Download the Ice Guys podcast when you can't watch the show live. For Alex P. Smith, I'm Ian Cameron. Have a great Saturday. Enjoy this massive card, and good luck. And we will see you tomorrow on Sunday, noon Eastern, for another edition of the Ice Guys.